Hey everyone, it's Miss Guy, and we have successfully made it to session 3 opening for the semester. So I hope that you are hanging in there. I hope that you feel like you've gotten started off well and that all of your classes are treating you kind as you get into a groove of the semester. So I just want to review with you real quick. You do need your textbook. I need you to make sure that you also include this SOC 225 OL01G in your email subject lines for me if you're emailing me about a question. And also, once a session deadline passes, you will see that it falls to the very bottom of the course. So for example, here I've gone ahead and moved session 1 to the bottom. So if you're looking for a session that has the deadline has passed, go all the way to the bottom of the Moodle course and it will be there. All right, so we are going to go ahead and start chit-chatting about session 3. So the title of session 3 is Cultural Diversity in the United States. You are going to start this session by reading a portion of chapter 1. Now, it's not the whole chapter, it's pages 1 through 13. At the end of page 13, there is a really nice break. It kind of ends what it's talking about. It starts talking about something else for next week. So just pages 1 through 13. This is on purpose. There's a lot of information to digest in this textbook. And for these first few weeks, I really want to have some very focused, structured reading. So pages 1 through 13. This is going to walk you through a lot of historical data and some trends that we're seeing in our country now as it relates to diversity. So once you're done with reading chapters 1 through 13, if you will take a look at these reading notes. Now, I will show you, this is a little bit different, so you'll click on the link for the reading notes and then you're going to make a copy. So hopefully you're accustomed to this by now, but just remember this is how we do things. Okay, so you have two options. You can read the chapter section that's assigned, pages 1 through 13, and then you can go back and you can complete these notes. Or if it works for you better, you can read as you are working on the notes. It's totally up to you and your learning style. You can do it either way. So if it was me and my learning style, I'd have to read and then go back and complete the notes. But if you learn a different way, you go right ahead. I do require you to post a photo of yourself here in the upper left-hand corner of your notes. This is just one of those classes where, it's totally online and we don't have any face-to-face interactions. And so I just love seeing your face, especially when I'm reading your responses to things. It just makes it a lot more personable. So please put a photo of yourself there. It literally can be a selfie from your cell phone that you take like right now when you get ready to do these notes. You do not have to worry about putting in a glamour shot there. Okay, so these are Cornell notes. This is the first time we've done this in this particular class. If you've had a class with me in the past, you may have seen something like this, but I put information in on the left-hand side under the questions and main ideas section. And that is what you are to speak to in your notes. And your notes go on the right-hand side in this notes column, and they are typed in a different colored font. You'll see that I ask for you to do a lot of things in a different colored font. It is a way for you to visually do a quick check to make sure you've put in enough content. So what you will do here is you will record definitions if it's a vocabulary term, or if it's a section that you see labeled there, you'll kind of do a summary of. You can do these in bullet points, in full sentences, whatever you feel like is best. But I have to see through this taking notes process that you have completed a thorough job of reading and digesting all of the content. At the bottom of all Cornell notes, which is what this essentially is a summary section. And so again, I have inserted the questions that I want you to read, reflect, and answer. All right, so you'll see on the left-hand side, it says in paragraph form, summarize the changing cultural landscape of the United States. All right, that is a piece that you can summarize based upon your reading. And sometimes I'll ask you personal questions like the second question. So after reading and reflecting, what's challenged your way of thinking? Okay. Opinion-based questions like that, there is no right or wrong answer. I just have to see that you've thoroughly answered the question. And again, remember, this is a total safe space. So whatever has challenged your thinking, feel free to record it there. I'm the only one that's going to read it. And as long as you're answering the questions, you're going to receive the points. Your content, what you actually write, when you are asked these particular personal reflective questions, doesn't have any bearing on the points that you earn. It is just the depth of the reflection there. So if something challenged your thinking, please don't feel intimidated to not include it there. Okay, so that would be your notes. Okay, so like I said, you can either read and then complete the notes or read as you complete the notes. Either way, you'll drop that. Of course, my screen looks different from yours, but there'll be a submission box in here. I am going to ask that you make sure you're submitting through your Google Drive. That's the best and easiest way to not tick Moodle off. Moodle is a little bit of a whiny thing sometimes, so submit through your Google Drive. All right, and then the next thing you're going to do is an activity called Mapping the 2020 Census. This is one of my most favorite activities here. So you'll click on this. This is very much similar things that we're doing here. We're going to click on this link. We're going to make a copy, and then it's going to show us the actual assignment. All right, so directions are at the top. You're going to use the data provided by the U.S. Census Bureau and this template, and you're going to analyze the area in which you currently live. You're going to reflect on the diversity and the changing trends in your area. All right, and you can look at your city, your county, your state, and all of that. You might get in here and start digging a little bit deeper. All right, so here is the link to the data map viewer, and then I have had a few students that have had trouble navigating to that link. So if you would like, you can just Google Mapping the 2020 Census, and then it will take you to that same website. There's a quick tips guide here for assistance with using the map, because you do kind of have to know how to use it. All right, and then you're going to begin to examine the area that you currently live in. All right, so you're going to use these tabs up here at the top, examine the area that you live in. All right, and then make sure that you're looking closely at the changes from the 2010 census to the 2020 census. All right, and so that is absolutely the population change tab. If you are just listening to these directions and you have not looked deeper at these additional links, this will all make sense to you once you start doing that. Now you're just going to kind of analyze, read through some of that data, flip-flop back and forth between the 2010 and the 2020, look at what has changed. You're going to have a reflection period here. Okay, so the areas, you're going to list what areas you evaluated. Okay, so yes, you live in a city or a town, but you also live in a county. You also live in a state. Okay, so remember up here in number 1, it says not only looking at your city, but your county and your state. All right, so you will just list those in bullet forms. Okay, I have A, B, C, etc. as the format all the way through. You don't have to have 4 bullets all the way through. That's just to let you know you can list it out in bullet form. All right, and then you're going to explain the types of demographics that you discovered. Again, you're going to record your notes, but they have to be thorough. And then you're going to talk about the changes that occurred between your 2010 and your 2020 census based upon the areas that you observed. So you may see that when you look at your location and you're just looking at your city, your demographics may have drastically changed, but perhaps maybe your state demographics haven't drastically changed. And so the demographic changes section really is going to be dependent upon each location. So your city or town, your county, and your state. So you're going to kind of hit those 3 locations at minimum, those 3 demographics at minimum, and those 3 demographic changes at minimum. And then you're going to have just a little reflection. There's some questions that you can look at and think through and process. If there are things that you come up with throughout your reflective period that are in addition to those questions, that's totally fine. Your reflection paragraph or paragraphs go here. So this is just a real bare bones template. What you will be graded on here is how much effort and energy I can see that you have put into this assignment. You'll see that the reading this week in the first part of chapter 1 talks a lot about these demographics and changes and census data and that kind of thing. So I am looking for an in-depth kind of recap of the demographics in your particular area, depending upon where you are from. You can also, if maybe you live somewhere now, but you've lived somewhere else in the recent past, or you have family that lives in a particular area that interests you, you can do those areas as well. Okay, so once you're done with that, you're going to have a submission box down here. You're going to submit through your Google Drive to keep Moodle nice and happy. And then that will be the end of your session 3 assignment. So just a deep dive into the diversity that exists in the United States this week. Please reach out to me if you have any questions or concerns. I'm always just an email away. Y'all have fun.